So a bit of background about this whole project. When I bought my Jupiter 9 80mm f2 lens, it came bundled with a Kiev 4 rangefinder and this curious little 50mm f1.8 kit lens. And for as long as I've had the Kiev 4, I've always wondered what this 50mm Soviet lens would look like if it were adapted to a modern mirrorless camera. But there was just one problem. The lens doesn't have its own focusing mechanism. The focusing mechanism is integrated into the rangefinder itself. But curiosity got the better of me, and now that I have a 3D printer, I decided to try and design my own custom 3D printed adapter that would fit this lens onto a Sony E mount camera. My first attempt at making an adapter was admittedly very crude. It's basically just two tubes with some threads that would allow me to adjust the focus of the lens. I was going to stop here because after all, this was only ever really supposed to be an experiment. But then it occurred to me that I could replace the threads with a groove and some metal balls designed for ball bearings for a much smoother focusing action. Now the focus is much smoother, and of course the focus throw is much shorter, which helps you find focus quickly. The quality of the print is also much better now because there are far fewer overhangs that require supports. So to get a feel for the quality of this lens, I compared the Jupiter 50mm to my Canon 50mm f1.8. And I have to say, in the center, surprisingly the Jupiter is probably a little bit sharper than the Canon is wide open at f1.8. The Jupiter still beats out the Canon at f2.8, and by f4, the center is basically the same for sharpness. The corners, however, on the Jupiter are much softer at f1.8 and f2.8, and then again by f4 it catches up with the Canon, and I think past f4 these lenses have very similar optical quality. I spent the past few weeks testing this out with my old A7S Mark I, just as a full frame point and shoot, and I think the image quality really does hold up. It does have very strong vignetting wide open, and like most of these vintage lenses, there is a lot of flaring, so you tend to lose a fair bit of contrast in backlit scenes. With all those aperture blades, however, you get incredible sharpness and very, very pleasant bokeh quality when you are stepped down with the lens. Quite unfortunately, it does appear that the only lenses that were made for the Kiev mount, internal bayonet mount, were all 50mm of various, aperture sizes. So it isn't like there is a huge abundance of lenses of all different focal lengths just kind of waiting to be adapted to mirrorless cameras. If you make this adapter, you're probably just going to find 50mm lenses for it, which obviously isn't that exciting. But for me, designing this adapter was really a bit of fun, and it was good practice for Fusion 360. That said, in case anyone does have access to a 3D printer and happens to have these lenses, I will put the files in the description somewhere. Anyway, I hope you find this video interesting, and again, I hope the STL files in the description are useful to you, and I will see you later.